Hi, guys. Welcome to the Hanger Management Podcast. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Jack, and we're psyched you're here because we're talking about, drumroll, keto!
Wow. We're
I know,
excited.
I should have done it on the thing. Drumroll.
No way. I think it went, it
went well?
perfect.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
Now that we've cleared that up.
So before we dive into the episode, just a few housekeeping things as per usual. This is not a kid-friendly show. We swear a bunch. Number 2, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Hanger Management Pod and our personal IGs, which are just below. Lastly, we are operating remotely, so if there's any variance in sound quality, we do apologize, but huge shout out to Opulence Media Group for getting us set up. All right, let's talk keto.
I feel like this is going to be a popular one.
Because people love keto and we're about to...
It keeps coming in phases, like it's always around and it's always a group of people doing it. So yeah. Well, maybe we should start with a little bit of the history about keto. Like, so where did this even come from?
Great idea. Yeah. Okay, where does it come from? Let's talk.
So this diet, we'll call it the ketogenic diet, it was actually created to treat severe epilepsy, mostly in children. So it was not made to lose weight. It was not made to do whatever. It was actually to treat this condition. And it was...
And this is way back when, right?
This is way back.
Like way back in the early 1900s.
Like, this is not new. Like, this was way back. And we'll even get into like just the different splits of keto and how it's evolved and whatever. But we'll just start, I guess, with this one, which was, used to treat this. And also it was supposed to be under the supervision of like a trained physician or like a nutritionist, because it's kind of dangerous, really.
Yeah. So like the original version of this, like, as you said, it's like a treatment. It was developed as a treatment for, children with epilepsy, right? And because obviously there are connections between brain function and what you eat, what we eat. So yeah, like way back when, developed this strategy for dealing with epilepsy. And of course,
now today,
it makes its way into the fitness world, and fitness enthusiasts decide to make it into a fad diet. So like essentially this is like it was, I mean, it progressed from the early 1900s, but it really gained popularity. And it's so funny because my coach who put me on keto, yes, I have done keto.
Plot twist.
Oh, I've really done keto. I've prepped for nationals and worlds on keto. But yeah, no, my coach who put me on this was an old school, like 80s bodybuilder, right? So he was like in the prime of his bodybuilding career when keto was like gaining traction in the bodybuilding world. So like in the 80s and 90s, bodybuilders get their hands on this diet and they're like, oh shit, I can get shredded on this, right? And you can, which we'll get into down the road. But let's, I guess, go back to like exactly what it is. So what is ketosis? Like, what is keto? What is it? I guess a ketogenic diet allows you to get into ketosis, and ketosis is what allows you to, should we say lose weight? Should we say, I don't even want to say that. I don't.
Maybe we should. I know. I'm like, I mean,
well,
ketosis
that's where this
is just, it's all about the energy, how we get energy to move. So So okay, so let's talk about what a ketogenic diet is then. You want to talk about, okay, so let's talk about what is a true ketogenic diet. So like, I mean, the way that it's, so first of all, low protein, like we'll talk percentages.
Well, what's the first thing? What's the very first thing people think when they hear keto?
Low carb. Like, no, essentially no carb or low carb. I mean, you'll have some
and high
carbs,
fat. And high fat.
And high
Those
fat,
are
like
like
really
the
high
two.
fat.
Yes, those are the two. Like that's what I'm saying. Is high fat is what I think when I think keto. Low carb, high fat. Those are like the two standard qualifications for keto. But it's actually like, as we discovered, as you discovered, it's actually like
I discovered this. Yeah. Like I had no idea. It's actually supposed to be low protein, which just floors me because I thought it was shitty before that. And then I found out it was like super low protein, and now it's extra shitty to me because I'm just like, what?
It's like, why?
Like you need to have so much protein, like to just, anyways, whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. So a true ketogenic diet, whereas a regular kind of, if you got a regular, macro, when I say regular, I mean a very well balanced macro split in someone's meal plan, it would be something like 30% carbs, 30% fat, or sorry, 30% protein, 30% fat, and 40% carbohydrate.
40% carbs. Yeah.
So that's like your classic breakdown of macronutrients for like the average person in a balanced macro breakdown. Obviously, those are, you can manipulate those, and there's like both ways. But in a true ketogenic diet, you have to be minimally 70% fat. Minimally 70% fat. I think like some of them say up to 75. 90. Yeah.
I've seen 90. I'm like
90% fat. So that means not up to 90% of everything you eat has to be pure fat. And that's a true ketogenic diet. And when we say true ketogenic diet, we mean if you were, in order to, and I guess we'll establish how to get into ketosis in a little bit, but it's very high fat, very, very, very high fat. And I guess, like you said, very, very low carb.
Yeah.
like very low carb, if not no carbs. Like
you can't even eat a fucking apple. I love a good Honey Crisp, so I'm shook at that. Like
I love a Honey Crisp too. Is that your favorite, would you say?
Yeah.
Honey
100% my favorite apple.
Anything like crispy, right? You like that like crunch.
Oh yeah, and like sweet. Do you think the keto listeners are like drooling? Do you think they're jealous?
I kind of am. I don't know if they weren't before, they might now.
Maybe they'll go eat an apple.
Because guess what? On keto, you can't have this either.
No, you can't have a beer.
No beer, no wine, no drinks, no alcohol if you're doing true keto. Anyway. Sorry.
We're really upset about this.
I was more concerned about her Honey Crisp apples. I personally, as a real human being, am more concerned about my drinks. Okay. I love apples. But yeah, like, anyways, like you said, it's literally like nothing, right? So like the only carbs you can eat are essentially like veggies, right? Like very low carb, green, low glycemic veggies, essentially. Like
you can't even eat like some veggies.
Some green veggies, yeah. Like
I can't even imagine.
Peas. Can't eat peas.
Like mushrooms, tomatoes, they're all limited. I just couldn't even imagine.
And like I guess so. Okay, so let's get into why. So what's the whole concept of getting into ketosis, and what's like what
is it?
What is it? Yeah. So why do you have to limit your carbs and increase your fats in order to get into ketosis? And then after that, we'll get into like what the supposed benefits are. But yeah, like how do we get into it?
Oh, so like frig. Okay, so like naturally, just as like human beings, like our energy source is from glucose, which is, it's like, we're not going to get deep into all these terms, but basically glucose, we'll just call it carbs. Like you get that. Carbs.
Yes.
Yeah. Essentially, and some protein as well can be broken down into glucose. So there's another fucking red flag for keto. You can't even have protein that's turned into glucose. Anyways, sorry. Let me tell you how I really feel. No, so like naturally, that's what our body does, and it stores, glucose. It converts to glycogen, and it's in our muscles, it's in our liver, it's everywhere. So to get into ketosis, you have to literally eliminate all trace of glycogen so that we're not using glucose for energy. Now we got to make ketones specifically to use as energy. And when I say energy, I mean literally like moving around,
Right. Yeah.
feeding your brain,
Yeah,
like
literally
just
anything.
organs,
Right.
right?
The whole concept, like you said, is when you eliminate enough carbohydrates from your diet, you eliminate glycogen from your blood. And by doing so, your body is forced to use another source of energy. What is that other source of energy? Well, fat, essentially. It comes from fat. So when you reduce that glycogen in your bloodstream far enough, your body's like, oh shit, we need energy. What are we going to do? Your fat breaks down and ketones are made by the body and end up in the bloodstream, and the body, any bodily functions can take those ketones out of the bloodstream to operate those functions.
Yeah.
As long as the ketones are in the bloodstream. So
Right.
that's essentially how it works.
Yeah.
Lower the carbohydrates enough, eliminate the glycogen from the bloodstream, force the body to use your fat as a source of energy. Ketones are developed. Ketones become the energy source.
Yeah.
Now.
I love when you do that. Now.
Okay.
I mean, where were you going? I was on the edge of my seat with what was coming after the now.
I gotta like slow myself down so I don't like say anything to,
Just say it.
No, I don't want to get sued.
So there's that.
No, okay, so that's the concept of keto. I personally have used keto. Like I said, I prepped for 2 shows on keto, full keto. What do you want to go to next? Like, how do you know if you're in ketosis? I guess let's start there.
So let's start there. Like I feel like the most common way for just like everyone, because not everyone's going to go and get like blood tests done, is to buy those little sticks. So basically detected in your urine, like it'll give you a level of ketones to show you kind of whether you're in ketosis or you're starting to get into it, or you're like, killing it in ketosis. You got really high levels. Like it literally will give you a level
of the ketones
in your bloodstream.
Yes. So that's the idea of how, like, the pee stick test.
Yes.
Even before that, though, how many people do you think are actually doing that? Well, of all of the fucking people claiming they're on keto, how many fucking people are peeing on a fucking stick to test their ketones? Probably not many.
Or they stick to it long enough to see it on the stick and they're like, yes. and then I think their guard is let down. Do you know how easy it is to pop out of ketosis?
Oh, dude, I think you're giving people way too much credit for even saying that you think everyone trying keto is buying those sticks.
I hope they are. If they're going to talk the talk, then they got to friggin' pee on the stick.
No, that's my point, is I personally really don't think most people who try keto, like, think about that. Like, think about how many people have tried keto. Like, my mom tried keto. Like, she certainly didn't buy the sticks to pee on, right? Like, no one, like,
I guess, like, I just had a couple people and, like, I went through at work and they did use the sticks, but I agree. Probably not everybody is using them. I don't think
I would say most people are not. I mean, I guess that's purely my opinion. But I've heard of a lot of people doing keto, and I have a really hard time believing all of those people.
No, I know exactly what you mean. They're like, I'm on keto. And then like, I literally see them smashing a piece of cake down. I'm like,
right.
I'm like, huh?
Okay.
I'm like, oh, you're on keto? You can't even have a piece of that.
To me, that is the number one biggest issue with keto, is people don't fucking understand what keto is. Yeah. Like, people hear keto, people are like, oh, I just gotta like
eat bacon like and eggs and butter.
Eggs and bacon and butter in my coffee and I'm on keto. Like,
yeah, I agree.
right? Like, I think that's like kind of,
Yeah, I think there's definitely a large group of people that are like that, and they just have like
they
no
think it's
idea.
keto, right? And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's not like, that doesn't qualify as keto, just because like we said, like 90% of your calorie intake has to be from fat, or I guess a minimally 70% has to come from fat, right? But like, if you like like how many people are actually tracking their exact, do you know what I mean? I think that's
Yeah,
the biggest
because you would have to really
know,
track it.
you have to be like, think about
You
it.
would
Like
have
you
to
said,
track like your piece of
this
mushroom.
this was originally your piece of mushroom. This was originally developed to be administered under the care of a physician.
Yeah.
So the fact that people think they can just like, and like a lot of times, like, people don't even know how to track their macros. So if you're
No.
if you don't know how to track macros, you can't, like, there's very
no
little
way.
Yeah, like, okay, so you're saying no way. I rarely say always or never, but very little chance, if you don't understand macronutrients, could you get into keto. Like, it's, you have to be able to know exactly what you're eating, when you're eating, and what the macronutrient breakdown of those foods are in order to hit those minimal numbers of, you know, fat and highest numbers of carbs. So
Yeah,
to me, that's like red flag number one is the fact that it requires a high level of understanding of nutrition. Like, if you
to
think
properly do it and do it yourself, if you weren't like administered like a meal plan or whatever, and then even if you were administered a meal plan, like, if you don't understand how important it is to be quite so low carb,
right,
and you're not adhering completely to it, like, right,
like you said, right? So like the minute you go over your carb intake, your body is immediately going to grab those carbs as the energy source, because your body recognizes that that is the best energy source to operate. Carbohydrates are the best energy source for your body. They're the easiest source of energy to get.
They're faster, they're more available, and they're what
more efficient
is supposed to happen naturally.
Operate on. Yeah, that's what your body, we've evolved to use carbohydrates for energy most effectively and efficiently. So when you go into keto, you're forcing your body to use something else that it doesn't naturally want to use. So the minute, like you said,
it's like give me that.
Give me
Give me that.
The minute you introduce enough carbohydrates, or just slightly too many carbohydrates into your diet, you're screwed. You're no longer in keto.
Like, and it just takes like one meal.
Not even one meal. It takes one apple. Like you said.
One apple.
Like one apple.
Not even got to do it all over again. Like when I did it to prep for like a photo shoot. So I just kind of did it on my like my carb deficit days to like deplete glycogen and, you know, whatever, and then carb load into my shoot, whatever. And I just, in my prep days, I did like the literal like protein and veggies to get rid of carbs.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't want to starve. I'm going to do high fat. I'm going to do some keto here. So I did. And I like worked out so hard, and I tracked, I mean, I didn't track my vegetables, but I was definitely under 30 grams of carbs a day, which I normally eat like 200. So that's like a big deal. And I did have small trace amounts, but like
trace amounts of ketones, you mean?
Of ketones. Yeah. Like I technically was in ketosis based on like
those
the measurement. But it took me literally doing like so much like cardio to try to get rid of all of my glycogen stores and to create these ketones, like 3 full days. And I like remember peeing on the thing, and I was like expecting it to be like lit way up at the top, and I was like, what the fuck?
You just had a tiny little level of ketones in your body. And
oh my God, I was like, this is really hard. If someone like me who like understands that I need to, you know, do all this extra exercise to get rid of my glycogen stores and eat way little carbs, like I can't imagine that other people
to actually get into keto. Yeah, into ketosis. Yeah. So
that's hard.
And as you know, like, and as I said, like I've also done keto. I did it for 3 months prepping for nationals, and I mean I did well in that show, but I certainly wasn't my leanest.
Yeah.
By far. So I guess that's the other
You
side
still
of things.
won though.
I did.
Flips hair. I did still win though.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I did but I did do keto. For me, it was okay. Like it worked. Like I didn't mind it. But you can't, like, it's not, I guess let's just get into this. Like, I can't do that forever. Like,
No.
you can't do that forever. I couldn't do, I did it for a short period of time. I guess I got a little bit lean. I leaned out a little bit. I certainly didn't lean out as much as I do with a regular macro breakdown or my normal macro breakdown. So I wouldn't say it was ideal for me. Was it livable for me for those 3 months? Yeah. Like it was livable. It was okay. But you know me, like I'm pretty good with my nutrition. I don't have a lot of mental health issues that go along with it.
Right.
And as with most things that tell you to cut out like entire food groups and entire macronutrient groups, there's obviously a lot of mental health issues that go along with that, right? I mean, maybe I'm getting ahead of ourselves. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but like, you know what? No, let's get into it. So like,
I mean, yeah, we can talk. Well, that would very much be like because we'll get into the risks and benefits, and that would very much be a risk. Yeah.
100%. So like the benefits they say. So why do people do keto? Why do people do keto? If we've talked about all this. Why would someone opt to do keto?
So I've really only seen it two different ways. I've seen weight loss, which is the fad, and then I have seen it used for like medical issues.
Okay,
for
we're
example,
not talking about the medical side. Let's not talk about
but that's one of the reasons why people use keto.
Okay,
we don't have to get into it, but that is one side that I support and respect because it's for a short period of time. Now, when I talk about weight loss, I don't think it's sustainable because if you're doing it to lose weight, it's not going to keep the weight off because you can't live that way, right?
Right. So I think that's like kind of the biggest issue that we take with it is that it's touted as this like, hey, you can eat cheese and steak and butter and lose weight. And that's how it's like promoted. And like, yes, you can do that in keto, but you can also do that in pretty much every other, in our approach.
Like
in a balance, like we eat all of those things, right? So
it's portion control.
So I guess that's what people see. Like that definitely is the thing that people see and are like, oh my God, like I can eat steak and butter and like, bro, all you got to do is like dump like half a cup of like heavy cream in your coffee and then top off with like a tablespoon of butter and bam, keto, you're in ketosis. That's it. You're in. Like, no.
This voice. And I think too, we should just talk about like the initial weight loss and people are like, oh my God, I started keto. I'm down 8 pounds. It's like, you lost all your glycogen, bud.
Just water and like
your literal like muscles are depleted of their
storage. And they're deteriorating.
And they will deteriorate.
So
and they will.
They will. No, like that's
bye.
Hey. But like that's to me that's the bit, like the benefits just don't even come close to outweighing the risks. Like the risks are way worse than the benefits. Like they say, like, so other than medical reasons,
yes, of course,
if someone tries keto to lose weight, they have to stay in keto, maintain that weight loss.
Yeah.
Okay, here, I just want to say, it is possible to come out of keto and not gain weight, but it is
hell
very rare.
And also like, that sounds like hell. Cause like you're gonna be so carb sensitive.
That's it. That's it. You're gonna your
Carbs
body
are life.
your body no longer knows how to process carbs, right? Like your body's like, as soon as you introduce carbs again, your body's immediately gonna start using that energy source instead of the ketones. And then if you go, like, inevitably you're gonna eat more and
you're
more.
You're gonna overeat, so now you got way too many carbs to even be used. So now you got fat storage happening.
But why are you overeating? Because as soon as you introduce carbohydrates, into your body's gonna crave more and more and more. But even though it craves it, it's not gonna know how to process it. So like you said, you end up eating more, your body ends up holding everything, ends up holding fat, and you end up gaining weight back. So like,
yeah,
like
it's like arguably, like for me, I was like just thinking, and I was like, that has to be one of the most restrictive things ever, because you literally I don't know if I'm being dramatic, but like you literally, like, you're stuck in this like keto jail of like, you can't even have a banana. Like, I just
mind blowing, right? Like you can't even eat a piece of fruit. You can't eat a piece of cake. Is it your birthday? Restrictive. Is it your birthday? No cake for you. Is it your child's birthday? Oh, your daughter's turning 8 and she has a cute little, Budgie the Whale cake. You guys don't have those up there. It would be like a Dairy Queen ice cream cake. Yeah, like, right? Like that's what she's having for her like 8th birthday. But guess what? Mommy and daddy can't have a slice because there's carbs in it. Like,
yes.
It's
so they prepared their fat bombs. Sorry.
Mommy's gonna have her fat bombs, okay?
I like keto products. I just don't use them for keto because they're lies anyways.
Let's talk fucking keto products.
Let's talk about the bar upstairs. It's labeled keto bar, and I read the back and it's 15 grams of carbs. I'm like, pretty sure that's your daily carb allowance, if not over, and it's not a keto product. Marketing.
I found, oh my God, I hate this. This is why I fucking hate the industry and hate food labels and hate those fucking titles. Cause like someone slaps keto on a product and they're like, oh, it's keto. This fits my diet. Probably not, bitch. But then also, like, I fucking bought a package of smoked fucking salmon that had keto written on it. Like,
all the people who don't know macro breakdowns, why don't you explain why that's weird?
So salmon is inherently carb free or very low carb, even if it's smoked or whatever has like some seasoning on it, it's still carb free. Okay. So to label something that already is like low carb, high fat, high protein as keto is literally just an abuse of that word.
Oh, 100%. It's a marketing thing. It just shows how bad the fad is, right? That you can literally prey on that.
You can prey on anyone
on a label.
And that's how you know when it's a fad. Because if products in the supermarket start throwing that label onto products or have that label, like they're literally just trying to grab you. They're literally just trying to grab. They're like, they know keto is a keyword. They know it's like, popular. They know people are going to look at it and be like, ooh. And that's just outright. It's just misleading. It's misinformation. It's misleading. And like, you don't like, it's already keto. Like it's just wild to me, right? Like it's just absolutely wild that it could be like labeling like a piece of chicken.
It's like labeling coconut oil keto.
Keto. Or olive oil, like butter, like, oh, keto friendly.
No shit.
Yeah.
It's a fat.
Like, it's just so fucking dumb. And the industry is just so abusive of like the, like they're just taking people for like they're just taking their money. That's all that's happening. It's like they think it's this like they tout it as this like amazing way to lose weight while still being able to eat like all these amazing foods. But like, plot twist, you can eat those foods on anything. Like, you can eat those foods not in keto. Like we said at the beginning, we eat those foods.
So
then what about like all the risks? Like, we haven't even really talked about that. Like,
I know, I think like today, like a light bulb went off in my head when I did learn about how quite low protein it's supposed to be. To me, I'm like, that's actually like really risky for people if they were to follow that for a long period of time. To not give your body a certain amount of protein is malnourishment.
Well, I mean, talk like literally the definition of malnourishment. But I mean, yeah, so aside from the low carb, a true keto diet is also low protein. So you're cutting out entire macronutrients from your diet. And then I guess, right, like
which I never got. Like, did you experience the keto flu?
Yeah, I had it. So they say it like disappears after the first like week or whatever. But like for me, I had it on and off pretty much the whole time. Like, I got headaches regularly. I was like fatigued.
Just that brain fog.
I just didn't operate well, right? And it was like, again, like going back, it wasn't like the end of the world. It's just like also wasn't ideal for me. But for someone else, you know, like let's say like a surgeon does keto.
No, thank you. I would like a balanced diet surgeon.
I was like, let's say I was going to get a boob job, and my surgeon's like, oh, you're into fitness? I'm like, I started keto. I'd be like, yup, I'm out. Like, no.
Oh my God, I'm dying.
So
the keto flu, the keto flu is essentially, it's because your body's in survival mode. You have literally taken away its main source of everything it knows, and it's literally starving. Like, even with calories, it's nutritionally starving.
Yeah.
And it's also just trying to survive. So you're like getting headaches. You're like, you know, feeling so awful. And it's because like your body's like, what's happening?
Not to mention like, I'm going to regret saying this, but whatever. Like, your poops suck. Okay. Like,
there's no fiber.
The digestive tract is just like, aside from the brain fog, fatigue, like all of the other things, like going to the bathroom sucks. Okay.
Oh, man.
So like all of that shit is horrible. Like, and at the like, I just, to me, and as like we go back to, you know, the mental health issues with like being so restrictive, telling yourself, no, I can't have that. No, you can't have that. No, you can't have that.
Again, disordered eating. It's creating that. Yeah.
It's definitely plays into disordered eating. So,
and if you don't know anything like about nutrition, like we said, like maybe you're eating the wrong fats. Maybe you're eating complete saturated fats, 90% of your diet, and you're not having the other ones, the unsaturated that you need. You know what I mean? Like, that's dangerous. Cholesterol levels, if you're not doing it properly.
You can really damage your body. You can really damage your body. It's, and we don't say like, you know, if you know what you're doing, if you don't, we're not trying to shame anyone for like not knowing. The issue is, and you know what, this, as we always come back to, like, you got to know what you're doing rather than following some fad diet that, you know, a popular person on Instagram,
research it
or whatever. Yeah. Learn,
like, just research it.
Works. Research it. Understand
if you're going to do it.
But also understand nutrition in general. Like, try, like, that's, to me, I guess at the end of the day, like, if I, you know, I just wish people, I really, if you're listening, all I want for you is to understand your food, because when you understand your food, you have a healthy relationship with your food. And when you have a healthy relationship with your food, everyone's happy and it's a nice balance, and you don't have to cut.
And you have more freedom,
it's
which is
freedom.
amazing.
Freedom. So
freedom. Whoa.
yeah. So I guess, you know what? So what, like, again, let's go back. Let's just quick recap. Why does keto work? Okay. It reduces calorie intake, right?
Because you're super full.
So, we didn't even.
Okay, let's just quickly talk about,
how it works. So when you get into ketosis, again, just like every other fad diet, as long as you stay within your calorie deficit threshold, which is easier to do when you're eating high fat foods because they digest slower, you will if you can do that, you will lose weight. Again, it allows you to restrict or manage. It allows you to manage calories. That is how keto, at the end of the day, is how every diet works.
Like for weight loss, 100%. You're doing keto, but you're losing weight because you did restrict your calories at the end of the day. And like maybe you lost a little bit more because, like I said, you lost all of your glycogen stores. Glycogen attaches to water. So you even lost some bonus water. And that does kind of kickstart making you feel like you lost even extra just because you did keto. But at the end of the day, like we always say, it's a calorie deficit. That's why you're losing weight.
That's why.
And so you're inevitably making it harder on yourself later because now you're sensitive to carbs.
Right. Yeah. So it like we said, it can work, but it's just not worth it in the long run because it's hard to get into, it's hard to do it properly. And even if you do it properly, it's hard to maintain because lifestyle wise, like, you're gonna have birthdays.
So many restrictions.
Like you're gonna have events and things you go to, and just general human activity involves carbs. Okay, like
it's true. It's a carb world.
It's a carb world
because we
live in a carb world. If we made those shirts, would you guys buy them?
Carb world. Carbies.
No, I guess, so that's where we're at. I don't know. Like you said, like we've both tried it. For you, not your jam. Again, because of your history, right? And it creates some weird it creates some weird relationship issues with food. And for me, like I said, like it was meh. It was all right. It was fine. It wasn't the greatest. It was just kind of whatever. Definitely not sustainable though. You just simply cannot.
I concur
wholeheartedly.
Oh man, thanks so much guys for listening. Shout out Opulence Media Group. Hope you guys enjoyed that episode on keto, and tune in next week for what are we talking about next week?
Oh boy, let's talk about cardio.
Oh, I love that.
Run that shit like cardio.
I love it. I can't wait to talk about that.
I'm so
we both
excited.
Have lots of experience.
Oh, we got lots to talk about with cardio.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. It's a good one.
You know what? Let's just end off with fuck keto, fuck cardio.
Fuck cardio.
Nah, like literally you're talking to an ex-track athlete, so I shouldn't be too harsh, but yeah, we'll get more into cardio next episode. Thank you guys so much for joining. See you next week.